All right, you guys, we're back on this fine Buick Encore here. It's in a pretty big mess here. There's stuff everywhere. So we'll get this thing back together. It's going to be quite a bit of work, but we'll get it put back together. We'll put all this thing together on camera, assemble the whole front end on it, and we'll get all this assembled. So let's get to work, guys. On these airbags, the reason why you know like where they go, sorry, these mosquitoes are eating me up out here today. But on these airbags, where they go when you put them back in is there'll be a slot. Let me find it here. See this slot right here? There's a slot right here that locks into this frame right here. And this is how you know which way they go. See, I was going to try to put them on like this, but that's not the right way. So I got to turn them around this way. Like if I didn't know what I was doing, you know what I mean? And you guys didn't know. So here's what you do. So basically, they'll go just like this. And you wonder, how do you know that? Right here, there's a slot right here. That slot goes up inside the pillar up here. So what you do is you put that slot up in there like that and pull it forward. See, it'll hold it in. But like say that you moved it back like that, it comes right out. That little thing locks in here. So you push it in like that, pull it forward. And then where these bolts go in, there's little things that'll go inside here, inside the pillar as well. So you got to make sure you get them in there before you tighten these bolts up. What I do is I bolt them up and leave them loose until I get everything in its place where it goes. And then I tighten it up last. It just makes things easier. And these bolts are all going to be 10 millimeters. All of them. They're all going to be 10 millimeters. Sorry, I'm kind of sweating so bad. It's like probably 85, 90 right now or something. You wouldn't know it because it's shady outside, but it's been raining here a lot lately. Like, I mean, this summer's been like the most rain we've ever had, and I can't tell you when. So this one right here, if you look at this one, it's going to pop inside of here. So you'll pull it up here like this. And you pop it in just like that. Then you'll go back here. Remember that piece I just popped off right here? I didn't need it. This is already on the airbag, so we didn't need it. See, it goes inside of here like this. It like kind of keeps the airbag in there. So you put that up here like this, and then it'll just pop in here like this. Pops in there just like that. You can't miss them. You'll definitely see where they go. And here's another bolt. It's probably best to put this on before you pop that in. If you'll look here, it's got like this little things, little lines in here with hooks on them right here. With these little hooks, you slip them up in there and drop them down. I'll show you how to do that here. So you slip them in, and then you put your bolt in them. That way when you tighten them up, it'll pull them right in. And it'll lock it in place. So I just want to snug them for right now, just to get them to where they go. Alright, now I'll go back here in the back, and there's a bolt goes back here. That's why I said it's kind of important to leave this stuff loose, because if you try to do it all at one time, you won't get everything to lock in place if you tighten everything up. And you know, you don't want people to be out here driving these cars not put together right, you know what I mean? It's not cool. So, and sometimes these headrests in the back seat back here, they really play a big role in getting right in your way, you know what I mean? So, but it's good when you take the rubber out the door to kind of wrap it around the back of the headrest. It makes it a little easier for you. So, it's been so hot this summer, I shaved my head bald, and I don't know, it probably was a bad idea. I think I shouldn't have done that because it kind of made things worse. I think I sweat more now out of my head than I do when I had hair on my head. So probably gonna start letting it grow back now. Well, yeah, so that's basically how they go, just like that. You got 10 millimeter bolts, that pops in. Remember, you slide this in and lock it in place. There's little ends on these. You slide them in there and start bolting them back on. It's best to get everything in before you do that. And don't plug up this airbag right here until kind of like the last thing you'll do when you get everything secure and tight. But let's move to the front now and we'll get this all in. All right, now you pop that in. You come up here to the front. Pop those back in. It's got to go like that. Then these ones here will go up here to the front. See this little cable here thing? It's got a little lock that goes, push it in, and then kind of rotate it, and you put your bolt in. All right, we got that one tight. Let's go up here and get this one now. So that's in, that's popped in. So now we can go back here and do this one. Like I said, these are jobs that you can do yourself with tools that you can buy from Harbor Freight. That's kind of why I'm putting this kit together right here, because it's tools that you guys can use to build these cars with. You know, it doesn't take big fancy tools to do this stuff. And a lot of people get scared over it and think you got to have certain things. You really don't. And I'm going to show you how to pop that. I'm going to show you how to pop that airbag out of that steering wheel too. A lot of people on YouTube. I had somebody ask me, there's no videos that show you how to do that. Like, no one's explaining it. Like, everybody who explains it does a horrible job at doing that. I'm going to try to show you step by step how to get the screwdriver in there and how to pop the back of it to pop that little airbag off the steering wheel. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. I'm going to try to get the camera footage in there the best I can, so that way you guys can see how they come off, because I didn't believe the person who told me that. And I went on YouTube and looked at some of the videos, and no one tells you anything like online or anything. They just tell you, you know, you push this in here and you do this and it pops off. That's all they say. That doesn't really help you. I'm the kind of person where, you know, when I ever wanted to know something, I kind of wanted to know hands-on so that I can learn. So I'm going to teach you guys hands-on how to get that airbag off the steering wheel if you're interested. It'd just be something for you guys to have knowledge of. So, all right, let's get back here and do this back one now. This headrest is like right in the way, man. When you're doing this, like, there's no room to do anything. So, but all these cars that we're building here, I keep saying all these cars we're building. When I say we're building, like we are building, I mean like me and you guys on YouTube. There ain't no crew here. It's just me. Like, I mean literally, like, and you guys who are watching me. When I say we, I mean you guys. Like, we, us, you know, building these cars. There ain't no big crew here. And there ain't nobody helping, like, buy anything or buying parts or fixing any of this stuff. It's all me and you guys. That's it. There ain't nobody else. So, all right, so when you put your airbag wire back on, when this little orange thing is pulled out, you just pull it right off. And then when this is pushed in, when it's on there, it locks it. So you'll take it like this, rotate it down, and you just plug it just like this. Pushes it on, it's locked. See, it can't come out. But if you want to take it off, see if I can do it with my finger. Probably not. Some of these are a little stiff. Yeah. I'm not going to take it back off, but to get this back off, I can find the ice pick here somewhere. To get this back off, you just take something and pop the orange thing back like we put it on. And once this thing pops back like that far, this will just pop right off. It'll actually just pull off. It don't pop off, it just pulls off. Then when you put it back on like we did, push it on, lock the orange thing in, you're all done. So this whole assembly is done. That whole assembly is done. So now, we'll go over here and show you the knee airbag that I did. All right, guys. So this is going to be the knee airbag that we did. I did it on camera, but my battery died. And it sucks because I showed you guys detail by detail how this thing went. So, really quick, this is where your plug goes in at, right here. Your airbag. Oh, I thought it was. Yeah, right here. If you can barely see it, it's a little yellow thing right there. That's the same plug as we did up there on that airbag over there. The one up there, that same one is this down here. All right, so it goes by these bolts right here. This is a 10 millimeter nut. I think it's a 10 millimeter. Is it a 10? Yeah, it's a 10 millimeter. That's a 10 millimeter nut on there. It's a stud coming out of this. You just put a nut on it, and it's going to be the same over here, one nut right there. So to bolt this on, all you do is take the nuts off, take your old one off, unplug it, and then put your new one and push it up in there, bolt it down, and then your little plug goes right up in here. See if I can get a better view for you here. See the little plug? That's your little orange tab that pops out. and you just plug in your airbag right there, and that's it for that one, for your knee airbag. That side over there wasn't blown, so we didn't have to change it. But what else is left? So all we have left to do is underneath here, see if this will stay up for us for 1 second. Probably won't. Yeah, it never does. See these two plugs right here? These two plugs right here are for you. Let me get this camera so it's not moving around so much. These two plugs right here are for your airbag module, and your airbag module goes right up underneath here. And I can't find a way to hold the console up. So you see where that slot is? Oh shit! I want to break the plastic. But it goes right underneath there, right there. It slides right in there. So the airbag module slides right in there. Okay, I'll pick this up and you look at it. See right there, it slides in that little cubby hole. And then these two plugs right here go in there, and that's the end of it. It's done. So we're waiting on the airbag module to come back, and we're waiting on these little tubes right here. There's little tubes right here. They're called seatbelt restraints, and they bolt up right here. There's a T50 that bolts up right there, and there are little tubes that run along here. And the reason probably why you can't see them is there's a plastic cover that goes over this to hide them. But this is where they plug into right here. This is where your restraints plug into, the little tubes. So when you have airbags that go off, let me explain this to you really quick. Those little safety tubes right here, the restraints, seatbelt restraints, they got to get sent in when you send in the seatbelts that go in here. That's the plug right there. Right here, this little plug right here, that's the plug for the seatbelt. So when you send in the seatbelts, you have to send in these little safety tubes right here, seatbelt restraints. They got to send in too. And also that module that I was telling you about down there, that's where the module goes. Now I'm going to tell you this. That airbag module will be in the same place on a Buick Encore, on a Chevy Trax, and I know they're the same on a 2021 Chevy Trax because I built one of those not too long ago. So they bolt up in the same spot right there, and those two plugs is what it bolts up to. And there's only 3 bolts, like little studs sticking up from the floor, and you just put the nuts on the studs, and that mounts it back in the floor underneath the shifter and underneath the console. That's where it's located at. And don't let people tell you that you can sit there and take the battery cable off and it'll reset, because I'm here to tell you that that's not true. Some cars may do that. I don't know. Maybe Ford's does it, maybe Chrysler's does it, but any cars that I've built, they do not reset themselves. So you guys can take that with a grain of salt. You guys can do it on your own and try to figure it out. But I'm telling you, they do not reset themselves that I've ever seen building these cars. So I would suggest that you get those things sent out when you send all the seat belts out. So that's my advice to you if you don't want any airbag lights on in the dash. Now let's get on to this thing. There's a little, I can't find it here. I think I threw it away already. Yeah, I threw it away already. Right here, this little sensor hooks onto it. There's another round piece that goes on. That's going to be your coil for your airbags. And it has 2 wires coming out of it when it's on here, and it's round, and it's like a sensor. It goes on here, and it's for the airbag right here. It plugs up to your airbag. It plugs up right in there to your airbag off that little round thing I was telling you about. So the round thing goes in here, and it's a coil that activates that airbag. So the old airbag is somewhere. Well, anyways, the old airbag that was on here, it has that round piece on here that I just ordered. I'm waiting for it to come in. It won't be here until Monday, which sadly is, I wanted this video out, and I wanted this whole car completely done, running and driving by tomorrow. And because we're waiting on safety restore and we're waiting on this piece right here, I'm probably not going to get a video out unless I want to do a part 3 to this. And I really didn't want to do a part 3 to this because I know you guys are probably bored with these little Encore videos, these little front wheel drive cars, but I'm just trying to make videos so you guys can see how things are done, in case you're interested. There's got to be somebody out there that it can help, you know what I mean? That's all I'm about, trying to help people. But that little coil that hooks to the airbag, when the airbag goes off, it melts the wires, it melts the airbag, it melts those wires like out of that coil. It'll melt the wires right onto this. Like these will all be melted. Like all this will be melted from that coil going off. So you can buy these used, find them at the junkyard pull apart yards, but I'm not doing that. I'm going to put a new one on here so it works nice and neat. I'm going to make sure all this is right. So that's pretty much the gist of that. So we'll get all that done, and that's going to be a delay for us right there. But that's not going to stop us from, so all the airbags are done in the car now. All right, you guys, we're back. I got the headliner right here. I'll show you the progress that's been made on this. Here's the seat belts back from Safety Restore. This is how they look when you get them back. They kind of package them up nice. They do a great job there. There's never no issues with these people. They do wonderful work. They'll come back just like this, packaged up, and they'll have like a zip tie on them like this. And once you install them and get them bolted in the car, you just cut the zip tie off. It's not a big deal. This is how they come back. We got everything in here. Today we're going to put everything back in the car. For the seat belts, the seat adjusters, we're going to get those back in, and that module. You guys ain't going to want to miss the module thing because they are a pain in the butt trying to get those back in. But I showed you these here really quick, the seat belts and stuff. We'll get them installed here in a minute. But let's move on to the headliner here. You guys seen the headliner when it was in the vehicle, how it looked in part 1. I'm pretty sure you guys saw the video in part 1 where the headliner was blown out on the sides. So let me show you what kind of progress has been made. This is where it was cracked at and busted. If you can see it there, it's all been glued back. So now what you have to do now with these things is this is something that I've never even done before. I've never done anything like this. So we're working on it here to see if we can make this work. But I don't know how this is going to work out. But this is a very hard job to me. So we'll see how it goes. But the first thing you got to do is scrape all this crap off of here and get to the board part so you can put your new material on there. But this is where the cracks were, like in here. See these? So we're gonna, once we get all this scraped off, we're gonna fix it from this side and bond it, and then we can do a better job at sealing this better. It's already sealed from the back side, if you can see here. It's already glued and sealed from the back side here. So all we gotta do is kind of sand that down and re-go over all this, fix all these cracks better, kind of move, heat the material, move it down, and we're gonna fix all these spots in here. But we're gonna show you this headliner fixed on camera, and that way you can see we did everything here ourselves, and everything has been done. So these is where your sun visors go through and different things. So basically, once all this material gets torn off of here, then it'll have to be re-glued, kind of, sanded down in certain areas where it's cracked at, and then go from there. But this looks like a pretty hard job to me. It looks like it's going to be a rough situation, so we'll see how it goes. But stay tuned and watch for the final results of this. So we'll be right back. We're going to start working on the seat belts, and we'll be back in a second. So let's get these over there and get set up, put them in the car. So we'll be right back, guys. Let's go ahead, get these unwrapped, and move the seats up and stuff. But I think first we're going to put the module in before we do that. So let's get the module out of here, and then we'll get up there. So I'll move these over here. Make sure we got all the stuff. So those are the 2 seat belts. This should be the module right here. All right, so this is your module right here. This is that module that is going to go underneath the console. So we'll go ahead and let's get this in, get you guys set up, and I'll show you how this thing goes back in and where it plugs up at and what all garbage you got to take out just to get to this thing. So we'll be right back. All right, you guys, this is where your module is going to go. It's going to go right up inside of here, just like this. But this shifter is going to give us a lot of hard time. But we got to be kind of easy because this console is dying to fall down on us. So what you're going to do is, and these plugs really don't help none either, so we'll kind of tuck these out of the way here. See if we can't jam up in the seat over here for right now, or eat the carpet or something. Just carpet kind of hold it in place maybe. See how lucky we are today? Nope, it's not going to work out too good. Okay, so this is how the module goes back in. Goes in just like this, because those plugs is what's going to plug in on these. So you got to put it up underneath here. All right, so what you're going to do is, in this situation, I'm going to try to lift this shifter up here and try to get this thing in here. These are a pain, and you know what, that's why I want you guys to see just how hard this really is. It kind of sucks, but best thing to do is kind of wiggle it in like that. This shifter don't give you no room because of the linkage right here, so it doesn't give you much wiggle room here. But I think if you do it like that, and then those are the studs. If you can see the studs right here, get my big hands all the way. See those studs right there? That's where that's going to drop on it right there. So let me get this up out of the way real quick here. Yeah, nobody ever records how hard this stuff actually is, but we're going to do it today. We're going to record how hard it is. So bear with me here. There's one stud on there, I think. This shifter does not give you any room whatsoever. I mean, none. And I think because I got it. Yeah, I got the shifter pulled forward. I got to put the... We're going to try to do it without doing that. The shifter needs to pulled out of park and put it in neutral. So hang on, maybe we can get it without doing this. That's why it's not giving any room, because the shifter is in the park position. Just hang on one second here. The shifter does not give you any room, man, whatsoever. So I want you guys to see the real reality of doing this job. No, you'd think if you could just get one of them. There's one right there. See if I can get this one on here. All right, they're on there. See, it falls right on those studs right there. That's how it bolts on, just like that. All right. I believe these are the bolts right here. I think they're a 10 millimeter, if I ain't mistaken. I got to make sure before I put them on there and put the wrong bolts on, but I think that's what they are, 10 millimeter. Let's see where they go here. I think there's only 3 of them. I'll show you here in a second once I get these on. Yeah, there's only 3 of them. I'm pretty sure. So that's how you put that on. That's how the box goes on. I'm not going to plug it up. I'll show you it plugs up here in a second. But let me get the rest of the bolts on. So see if you can see this. This is one of the bolt studs right here. My finger's right there. It's like that blue stud sticking up. So, all right, you guys. So, move some of the stuff out of my way here. But this is the other nut that's going to go on. It's going to go right back here. This shifter makes things really hard to get this stuff back on. It really does. I mean, it's tight in here somewhat. So, just keep that in mind when you put these together. Alright, so we got the bolt on there and the bolt on back here. Now we gotta go to the other side and put the, is there 3 of them on there or 4? I thought it was only 3 bolts on this. It is. So you're not gonna be able to see me put on the back one. Well, yeah, you can. Let me move the camera over there and I'll show you putting that one on. 1 second. Alright, you guys, now we're on the other side of the vehicle. So right here is gonna be where the other one goes. There's only 3 of them. There's not one up here in the front. It's just a solid piece right here. There's only one there, and one here. So I'll lift this up a little bit. Maybe I can pick it up from the back side here of the console. Like that. And I'll put the nut right here like this. I think it's a 10 millimeter. We'll find out here in a second. But this is going to be a rough go around trying to get this up high enough to get this on here. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a 10. So let's see if we can get this in here. I know a lot of you guys probably have power tools and all that cool stuff. I do, but it's just, I'm over here trying to do this. So let's see if we can get this tight with this ratchet here. All right, so that's tightened up. Let's go over to the other side now and tighten up the other ones. All right, you guys, so now we'll get this bolt up here in the front and this bolt back here. We got to move this shifter kind of out of our way here a little bit. This is going to be a hard job because see this little thing right here? this is part of the console. You kind of throw stuff in here. It's like a little compartment. This thing does not let this come up any. See, it just like bumps it, so you can't do nothing. It's so much, there's no room, you know. So what you got to do is kind of wiggle your way in there, and hopefully we can get it tight here. This shifter is just, God, these things are a pain, man. So let's see if we can get enough room in here to get this thing tight here. Just don't get frustrated when you're doing it, because sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to figure out where to move this stupid shifter at. It's always like right in your way. So well, there you go. So that's it for that. Sometimes patience is the whole key to this whole thing, but you know, as you can see, it's not easy sometimes to have patience when you got stuff falling on you and all that. And it's like, this weather this year has been ridiculous. Like, it's like, you know, 80, 90 degrees, 95 degrees, and then you get like some cloudiness, and then it starts raining, and then the humid kicks in and all the bugs come out and they just start eating you alive out here. You know what I mean? So it's ridiculous. You can't. Here in Michigan this year, I don't know, this mosquito count must be like ridiculous, because these things are like everywhere, man. These bugs are. All right, so what you're gonna want to do is take these plugs and plug them in just like this, like that. And as you push on these, you'll notice that plug tries to go that way. That's letting you know that it's locked in and it's safe and secure. So on the next one, you'll do the same thing. Push it on there like that, and watch that little handle as you push it on. See how it tries to go back itself? It like locks it in right there, so it's locked in good, and you got nothing to worry about. So now you can move along to bolting the shifter in. So move this over just a little bit here. So now you can move along to bolting the shifter in here. So we'll get the bolts for that now. So these are going to be your bolts for the shifter. I think they're also a 10 millimeter as well. So where's my ratchet at? We'll find out really quick, but I know they are. All right, let's see here. Yeah, 10 millimeter. There you go. So we'll drop it down through there. Once you get this part done, the rest of it doesn't take too long with the console and all that stuff. I just wanted to show you guys where all this crap goes at, so you guys can see where everything is. Please don't tell me I screwed the bolts back in the console or the shifter. No, I wouldn't do that. I do some dumb stuff, but I don't think I would do that. There you go. So you screw them in there just like so. Got that one in. Let's get this back one in here now. Let's find the other one. Here's the other one right here. So get that one in. Usually when you get one or two in, they usually just, everything falls right into place for you, and you'll be all set. But I just kind of want you guys to see like where everything goes when it's apart, you know, the procedure, putting it back together. Just kind of makes things easier, you know, if you understand it better. So go ahead and get this thing kind of tight here. Okay. All right, so it's still loose. All right, we'll go over to the other side. I won't bore you with the ratchet noise. We'll go over to the other side, put the other bolts in, and then I'll put you on hold, and we'll tighten this up, and then we'll start working on the console right here. So we'll be right back. All right, you guys, we're back over here now. Got it on this side, so let's find our bolts if we can. Oh, wow, we don't lose those screws. There's one. Find the other one. There's the other one right there. All right, so same way. The bolts go in here just like this. And just kind of move them around. You get them situated. Like I said, once you get two of them in, they usually go in pretty easy. But I just kind of wanted you guys to see. We don't have to go through the whole process of everything, tightening it down, but that way you guys can see where everything goes on this thing. All right, let me go get an extension, and we'll get these tightened down, and we'll move along to the console. All right, you guys. So we're back on the console here. Shifter's all tightened down. So now what we're going to do is we got to put this console back down in here. So kind of got to pull it back a little bit like so. Lower it down like that, and then it's got like a little thing it slides on here, I'm pretty sure. Hang on a second. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a pain. You kind of got to wiggle them here a little bit, but So basically the console will slide forward just like so. Let me get this fixed here. You can see here. There it goes. See those little ends? I'll show you better on this side. See those little ends right here? They kind of stick through the console and kind of line it up, so you can't move it much. And next thing you're going to want to do is, you can see here, you got a screw that goes right down in there. So see that cup holder that's down there? That cup holder, there's a little piece of plastic right there that'll pop down in this first, and then that cup holder will set down in there and kind of cover that up. But let me get this emergency brake fixed here out of the way. Okay. Alright, so that's out of our way here now. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a screw in here. The screw's got to go right in there. That tightens the console down. And then we'll start working on this and then the bottom part there. So 1 second, we'll be right back. The bolts that are right here, there's one here and there's one right here. They're going to be a 7mm that goes here. I already got them tight, but there's one here on the bottom, one here on the top, same as this side, one here and one here. All right, and we discussed about the one being right in here. So we got that one tight and we got those 4 tight. That's in there. So now we're going to work on popping this. There's a bezel that goes on here, and I'll show you that in a second, and that way you can see how that goes back on. So 1 second. So this is the trim bezel that's going to go over this. This piece here is kind of going to fit inside of this, like these little clips. That little chrome piece is going to pop in here. Now when you pop these on, if you look on the back side here, there's little clips on there. They're going to pop right down in here, like this one, and there's another one somewhere. Where's it pop at? Right here. Can't see it for the shifter. See these little holes right there? You got one there, and you got one there. That's where this is going to go, right here. These 2 ends right here will go, and that one there and that one there. And then your top ones here, you got 2 on each side. You can see there. They're going to go right here. One there, and then there's another one up here. So you got 2 there, and then the 2 on the bottom. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this thing popped on really quick. It might be kind of hard to do because I'm trying to hold the camera, but probably help if I pulled the emergency brake up just a little bit here. But see if I can hold this without making you guys sick here. But just give you an idea real quick, and then I'll pop it on. It's kind of got to go. It's not going to cooperate with me, I don't think. It's kind of got to go just like this. Just like that right there. It's going to pop on. Just like that. So I think this goes in first. This shifter would probably help if I had it to where it was back further. Just like so. You don't want to break them, so kind of push them forward and pop them down. That's it. Same way with these. Just like that. There we went. Alright. So that's how the console and all that goes back in, just like that. Everything's already fastened down good. Now, we'll put on this emergency brake piece right here, and we'll get that popped in good. And we'll get this console piece here, this cup holder piece put in. And then we'll move along. See, I got that thing down there. If you can see it smoking. See if you guys can see it. See if you can see any smoke coming out of it there. Might be hard to catch it on camera. That little thing smokes. And I got the doors closed right now. Probably not too good of an idea, but it just lets out a little bit of smoke. Keeps the mosquitoes from eating me alive in here. It works really good. It don't stink the car up that bad. Just a little bit of smoke comes out of there, but it keeps these mosquitoes from eating us alive in here, so that's a good thing. But now that I got this all done, I'll open up the door, and just hated the fact that I was kind of laying down, you know, and then the mosquitoes was kind of eating me alive in here. But now we'll get those 2 pieces on there, and we'll be right back, guys. Now, all this stuff does is just pops in, is all it is, so I'm not going to bore you with that stuff, but that's basically how your console goes. You got the bolts there like I showed you, the bolt down in there, and then there's 2 bolts in the back here. Once I get the seat forward to put the seat belts in, when we do all the safety restore here in a second, safety restore seat belts back in, when I move the seat, I'll show you where the 2 bottom bolts are on the console down here behind the seat, and then we'll do those. So we'll be right back. All right, you guys, we're gonna be working on this panel right here and then putting this panel back in down here. So we'll go ahead and get that tidied up really quick. So get this out of the way here. So this panel here, right here, if you can see it, this is where your I think it calls OB2 or something like that, where your computer plugs in to check for, you know, scanning or whatever. That's where that's gonna go at right there. So this one here will go on just like this. It has little clips on it, just so you guys know. You can see the little clips right here. That's what pops into these holes right here. So we'll go ahead and get those in. Yeah, just like that. Pop them in like that. Same way with that side, all the way down. Just like so. Now, what you're going to want to do now is there's a little door that goes in here, little door right here. Probably should have put it on before I, there we go. Now we push it together. All right, so that's the way your door goes, just like that. And then you just push it and it locks, open it, flops down. So that part's done. Now the screws you're going to be putting in is on the bottom right here. And then you tighten those up just like that. And you tighten them up just like that, and then it keeps your panel nice and snug. We'll get one in here. This will be really tight over here now. So let's go ahead and get the screws in that, and then we'll put the one in the bottom console down there, and I'll show you how this panel goes on, and then we'll be right back. We got the whole panel down here tight. It's nice and snug on the bottom here, nice and good. Everything's back on, airbag, everything's back in there. It says airbag right here. This is working great. Now we're going to put this panel on down here. There's a panel goes in our kick panel. Let me grab that and I'll be right back. There's one 8mm that goes right here. The same bolts that we put in the console right here, the 8mm. There's going to be one more that goes in here just to kind of tighten this up, make this really tight. So we got that in. Now we'll put that panel on really quick. Be right back. All right, so this is the panel. Keep moving the camera. This is the panel we're going to put in. And this little slot right here will slide right into right here. It'll slide right into this, I think. Hang on, let me make sure I'm right. All right, if you guys can see down here, there's a little slot down here. So I'll show you. It'll go in here just like this. It'll slide right in here, just like that. Push it in, and then you just pop these clips in. Hang on, let me get it lined up here. Lined up here better. Just like that, like that, and like that. Bam, it's back on. Now at the bottom down here, there's going to be a push pin for that, and this is the push pin right here, but it's broken. I got some more of these, some new ones. Well, actually, no, this one isn't broken. This one's a good one. Hang on, let me pop this out, and then we can use this one. They pull up just like that, and when you push this in, it tightens this end up. So let's stick this in there. It goes right in here like this. Push it in like that, and then push it in, and you're golden. It's in there. Alrighty. A lot of times you break those taking them out, but we didn't break them, so we're good. So basically, you just reverse this procedure, and you can get to your module, or pull your console for whatever reason. So let's get on to the seat belts now, and give me 1 second. So this is going to be the one for this side. So what we're going to do first is lay all this stuff aside. Get it out of the way so it's not in our way. Pull it over here out of the way. Alright, so this is going to be your bolt for it. It's going to be a T50. So put that in here. That's how your seat belt's going, just like so. Seat belts are in. All right, now what you want to do is bring these over here out of the way, and then we need to get it plugged up here, so we don't want to forget this. So it's going to go down here like this. Make sure you guys can see on the camera. Take this plug, and remember I was telling you about the yellow or the orange top. It just, some of them's got yellow, some of them's got orange. They got to be popped all the way out. push it on like that. Once you got it on, just hit the orange tab. That's it. It's locked in place. That's all you need to do for that. Alright, so next thing you're going to do is take your seatbelt, like so. Got to find out, this zip tie kind of makes it look like it's crooked, but it's really not. So make sure it's straight, like so, just like that. And you're going to want to bolt this part right here. It's going to go just like that. So T50, same thing, T50. All right, you guys, if you can see here, this is where the seat belts is all bolted in. The wire's hooked up down here, and this piece, we put a T50 in here, up here, and then this little piece, I didn't show you on camera, but this little thing just snaps in. It's a little snap. It looks like another star tool that goes in there, but it's not. It's just plastic, and it just pops in. It's got like a little hook that goes in the body like this, kind of, and you just hook it in, and that's all you do. These are your seat tensioners. See, you got your little seat belt right there and everything. You got to get these checked out too when you send off your seat belts and your module for your airbag. So let's get this unwrapped real quick, and I'll show you where this thing goes. Give me 1 second. So this is going to be where your seat belt restraint goes. There's a bolt hole right here, and there's your bolt. So basically, when you send these off to Safety Restore, all you do is just leave the bolt in there, because it's got like this little washer thing that locks it on so you can't lose it. So you can leave these on when you send them out and get them checked out and all that. So basically just stick it on there like that. And let me get my T50. I'm trying to hold the camera and put this on at the same time, so bear with me, guys. Guys, just take a T50, and I can't really tighten it on camera right now, but I'm just you guys kind of get the idea. But the end of the seat belt is going to go in here, so I'll show you how that hooks up. But before I do that, this is going to be your airbag plug right here. And what's going to happen is this, I better make sure I pop. I know it goes in here, but we're going to wait a second for that. So basically this right here, I got to pop it out, see if I can do it off camera here, or on camera here. There it goes. So see how I just popped that little orange tab out? Same way with all the rest of them we've been plugging in. You're going to take this, push it on like so, just like that. Make sure I got it right. I don't want to mess these up, because sometimes you can get stupid and mess stuff up and then you can't get it. So let me make sure these are right. Yeah, there's only one way it can go on. And that's another thing about these. There's only one way these can go on. So you push it on like I had it. Figure I go right there. Push it on like that, and then lock it in. It's good to go. You're all set. That's all there is to that. And it bolts up there. And real quick, I'm going to pop all this off. There's a little bolt in here. See that little bolt? When that bolt comes out, I think that's 10 millimeter also. I'm pretty sure it could be 11 or 12. I think it's 10. But when you take that bolt out, you pop this cover off right here. And then I can't really put that on right now, because that panel will run. This right here is where it goes to. When you take this bolt out and you pop this off, this little thing here will kind of sit inside of here, and then it locks in. And then when you put that bolt back in right here, it locks this to this part, and then you just pop the cover back on and it bolts up all together. Let's go ahead, we'll button all this up, get all this done, pop the little cover back on. I'll show you. There's a little cover that goes over top of this to cover all this stuff up so you don't see it. And I'll show you how that goes on. And once we get that done, then we'll put this bottom kick panel on here, and then we'll fasten all this stuff down and get the rubber back on the door. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we got the panel piece back on here. That's all done. It's getting kind of dark out here. Might have to end soon. I don't know. See what more we can get done. So that's all on. Now we'll put this piece here on with that kick panel down here. Before I couldn't put that kick panel on here on the side, because I wouldn't have been able to get this on, or this restraint bolted on. It would have been in my way. But let's go ahead and get the kick panel on, and then I'll show you how this goes together. Make sure all the clips are on. See them two clips up at the top right there? Then you got one here, And then you got one here, and you got one here. So you got to make sure all your clips are on. That's the main thing when doing these panels. So this part here can go back on, and we don't have to worry about the seatbelt being in our way because this panel can go on. The other piece that goes onto this that goes up here, we got to do that last because we got to get the headliner put in and all that. So this piece has got to go on last, but this piece here can go on right now. So let's get this put on, and then we'll get over to the other side. So first thing you're going to want to do is pop this. If I can get it there. See, it's got to go up underneath this right here, right there, like that. This seatbelt's going to make a ton of noise. Let's just stick this underneath this airbag out of the way. It'll save us a lot of clink and banging going on here. It's really hard when you're trying to video this. It's really hard when you're trying to video this by yourself. Okay, so that's how that goes, like that. All right, well, I'll show you where these clips go. These clips here, they're going to go inside of this thing right here. So before I do that, I want to get all this done, and I can't do it holding the camera, but I'll get all this popped on and I'll show you how it goes, okay? And then we'll get the other side done. So we'll be right back. Sorry I had to stop the camera there for a second, but yeah, this part right here will go up underneath this, and then you'll just pop that on just like that, and then the rubber will pop in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rubber part in here, because if I don't do it now, I'll never get it in behind here, and then we'll be in trouble. So let me show you here real fast. All right, so your weather stripping goes on like this. I'm going to put all this on right here for right now, get all, some of it back on here just for now. All right, so get all that to there. All right, and we'll go on the floor right here and put this on right now and get it over with. Because if you try to pop this panel on, I've already popped it on a little bit right here. If you try to pop this panel on without putting this rubber stripping at least up to here, it's going to be very hard for you to get it back on. So, but I'm sure you guys know how to do all that. Ain't a big deal. But well, that weather stripping is not wanting to hold very well. Must have been sitting out too long out of the car or whatever. But I'll go ahead, pop all the weather stripping in here, pop that panel back down, and get this all popped in. And then those are the pieces that go up here, like on this top here. Those pieces right there will go right here on this part, but I can't put those on, like I said, until the headliner gets in. We'll go ahead and we'll pop all this in, get this all safe and secure, and then we'll go over to that side and put that seatbelt in real quick, and then we'll see where we're at with that point. So we'll be right back. All right, so we got everything put back together. This is all popped in. The weather stripping's all down the plastic here. What we're gonna do is you take your seatbelt and you run it through that, okay? And I can't, like I said, I can't put this plastic piece on. As you can see, it goes up here and it'll won't let me allow the headliner go in. But what we can do is we can hook this piece up to the seatbelt over here, and I can show you how that goes, and you guys have an idea. So I'm gonna lay it over here for right now and go around here to the front. But as you can see, we got all the plastic back on, all the way down, all that's all done. So all this stuff is put back together like it's supposed to be. So let's move around the front, and we'll show you how this thing bolts up to your safety restraint on the seat. So before we can do anything, we have to take out this 10mm bolt right here. And as you can see there, that plastic piece, we already showed it to you already, but it just kind of covers everything so you can't see it. So let's go ahead and get that 10mm bolt out. All right, you guys, this is the piece that I just took off, took the bolt out of it. And as you can see, it's got like a little collar in it. It goes down inside of there. So when you put it back together, you'll stick those little prongs or whatever down here like this, and you'll just pop it back in. All right, so let's go ahead and grab the seat belt, and I'll show you how this works. We can just leave this laying here, it's not a big deal. So, oh man, it's gonna stick on there, I bet. So it's gonna be hard for me to hold this camera, guys. Let's just sit tight here for a second. All right. Wow. Yeah, It's really hard to do when you got no help. Let me try to move this seat back. As soon as I start pulling on this, it pulls the whole panel. Let me move this seat back to kind of hold the panel, and I'll be right back. All right, see how this thing fits inside of there? That's your seatbelt part. See how it fits in there, and it's got those little two things that stick out? That holds that in place like that. So if you let go of it, it'll try to come off on you. But if you'll look on the seatbelt, there'll be two little things stick out of it there, little points, and you just stick this metal seatbelt piece right on there like that. And the next thing you're gonna do, see if it'll stay. I doubt it, but it's hard for me to hold the camera and do it. Next thing we're gonna do is pop that cover back on, and then we'll put the 10mm bolt in, and I'll show you how it goes on. So 1 second. Okay. So now it won't go anywhere. All I did was, you remember I showed you at the bottom, you just push that down in there and then flop it forward, and then it clicks and locks. See, it can't come out without even the bolt in there. It's staying in there. We got to put the bolt in there to secure it. But once you put that 10mm bolt back in there, you're all set. It's good to go. So we'll try to get that bolt in there on camera here. You just put the bolt in there like that, and then I'll have to tighten it up, but once you put the bolt in there, this little piece right here, it just goes in here and goes over top of this once this bolt's tight. So let me get that tight and we'll be right back. All right, and that's all there is to it right there. That's it. Pop your little tab button back in, tighten your bolt up, and you're all set. And guys, that's all there is to it. I mean, we did the safety restraint on this side. It's exactly the same side as the other side, the passenger side. Putting the seat belt in, plugging it in, putting your seat restraint in, hooking your seat belts up. And on that panel, let me show you this panel real quick. See, on this panel, it's just going to go right up there like that when it goes back on. But for right now, it's fine where it's at until we can get the headliner all done and put back in. But you got to be careful with these pieces right here. You start yanking on that seatbelt, these like slide back and forth. You start yanking on the seatbelt, when these come apart, they're a pain in the you-know-what to get back together. There's like a spring in there, and you want to be as gentle as possible with these things. You don't want to be yanking on these and breaking them. So that'll be fine laying there for now. It's out of the way. We don't need to do anything else over here until the headliner goes in. But that pretty much concludes it. All right, everybody, that pretty much concludes the video for part 2 on the Buick Encore. Stay tuned for part 3. We're going to put the whole front end back together and get that airbag in the steering wheel. I'm going to show you guys how to pop that on and off from behind with a screwdriver or a pick or something like that, whatever you choose to use. A lot of people's asked me about the steering wheel airbag, and it's kind of difficult to get off. So we are going to go over that in part 3 when we finish up the assembly on the front end, and then pop the airbag on, and I'll just pop it all on and off a couple of times so you guys can kind of see how it goes. But stay tuned for part 3. We're waiting on the coil for the airbag that goes in the steering column, and then once we get that, we got the wheel well liner that's going to be here today. So we'll get that in, and then part 3 we'll have that whole car completely done, and we can move along to something else. Maybe we can get back on the Chevelle project that we were working on at the beginning of our YouTube channel that we haven't finished. So stick with us, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff. And thanks for watching, guys. Sink or Swim Garage.